Greetings, everyone. Once again, it's brother Muta, one day sharing the authentic truth brought to us by Zulula 100, the only teacher. The message here is were 8 people saved from the flood because, according to some people, according to the current classical day Bible, they claim that 8 people were saved. So Noah, his wife, his three son, and his three daughter-in-law. So that's supposedly from these 8 people that after the flood humanity came to be, all the people came from them according to the current classical day Bible. We will go in the current Bibles and to demonstrate that no, it was not only 8 people that were saved. And also there is the authentic Bible, the only and true authentic Bible, without any errors or contradiction. It is Bibel Karatambale, the book of the truth. It is the only Bible without any errors or contradiction. Is Karatambale. So in this Bible, in the authentic Bible, it exactly says who were saved. But here in this teaching, we're gonna show to those who call themselves Christians, who call themselves pastors, who claim to know the truth, that they have no knowledge, because there's only one teacher. It is Zulula 100. And when people come to speak regarding the Bible, regarding the scriptures, regarding the text, they lack knowledge on who he was referring to. They lack knowledge on who wrote those texts, those Bibles, and they will nevertheless defend the contradictions, the error, because they are mentally, intellectually deficient. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 1, you're told in the Amplified Bible, now it happened, when men began to multiply on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them. So this is in Genesis 6, 1. You're told that men began to multiply. And who were those men? Those were black people, because black people were the first people on earth. And you're told here that they began to multiply. And it was still one land, one block, one continent. So they spread, they were numerous. And you're told here, and that it says, they began to multiply on the face. So one face, one block. This was before the continental drift. And daughters were born to them. And Zulula 100 revealed to us that, an example, the great order of things is like a bottle. This is images for us to understand. The great order of things is like a bottle that we are filling up until it is fully full. Until it is full, we do not close the lid. Because some people lack knowledge on why are men on earth, what is the purpose, what is all this, what is this existence, this life. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, you're told that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, the sons of God. Here you see it says the sons of God. So the notion that there is supposedly that Christ or Jesus Christ is the only son of God is already false. But nevertheless here, who are those sons of God? Those were the fallen angels. You're told in the Good News translation, some of the heavenly beings. So it was not all of them. It was not all of the fallen angels. No, it was a group, a particular group, a part of it. And in Bibel Karatambali, it reveals which group it was. Some of the heavenly beings, so those were spirits, fallen angels, saw that these young women were beautiful, because those black women, they were very beautiful, attractive. So they took the one they liked. International Standard Version, some divine beings noticed how attractive human women were, so they took wives for themselves from a selection that pleased them. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men and they bore children to them, period. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. In English Standard Version, it told the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, So the Nephilim, because the Nephilim is the sons, so the descendant of the fallen angel, of the union of the fallen angels and the daughters of men. So the black woman and the fallen angels the black woman gave birth to the Nephilim. So those were the white people. And also the Nephilim is also the descendant of the fallen angels with the animals and the marine life, the marine animals. Because they, before coming down on earth and having sexual intercourse with the woman, with the black woman, they previously came and had sexual intercourse with the animals. And those were what is known, will be later known as the demons, because their physical body were destroyed, but their spirits were, their physical body were destroyed during the flood. And then they were left as evil spirits, demons. So the demons, those are the Nephilims. Those are the Nephilims. And the Nephilims, because the Nephilims is basically the descendant, the children of the fallen angels, with either the human beings or the daughters of men and the animals. And you're told here in Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, the Nephilim were on earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men and they bore children to them, period. These were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Men of renown. Who are the men of renown? In antiquity, in some version it says who were famous in antiquity. And you're going to be told in history regarding some famous personage like Hercules and Heracles. So those were later, those were the legends, the myth that people were telling of people who were born from a union of a divine beings and a woman, a human woman. You see, but they falsified history. That's why you have many stories either in ancient Greece, in Rome, and so on, where they have stories of God, like Zeus, coming on earth, having sexual intercourse with a woman or with women, and having a descendant, having sons or daughters, and so on. So you have those type of stories because they took it from what was already known among black people of what happened, the origin of the Nephilim. So, in Amplified Bible, it says, there were Nephilim, in bracket, men of stature, notorious men, on the earth in those days and also afterwards, when the sons of God lived with the daughters of men and they gave birth to their children. These were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. In bracket, great reputation, fame. Now, when he says giants, does that mean they were like tall, big, size-wise, huge? No. No, because they were giants who were men of stature, meaning they were tall, like the giants, but the giants are also considered because of men of stature notorious because of their notoriety. Like, for example, of their force and so on. So they could have a regular size, but they were nevertheless famous either because of their force. So when they say giants here, it does not mean only regarding the size. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, the Lord observed the extent of human wickedness on the earth, and saw that everything they thought or imagined was consistently and totally evil. God's word translation, the Lord saw how evil human had become on the earth, period. All day long, their deepest thoughts were nothing but evil. So they were doing evil. They were only thinking of evil. Genesis chapter 6, verse 13. God said to Noah, so God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them, period. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. Both them and the earth. So supposedly here in Genesis chapter 6, verse 13, you're told that God said to Noah that he was going to destroy all people and the earth. When was the earth destroyed? The earth is still there. You see, in New Living Translation, yes, I will wipe them all out along with the earth. But the earth still stands. The earth still there. It's still here. Christian Standard Bible says, I am going to destroy them along with the earth. When we go in Smith's literal translation, and God will say to Noah, the end of all flesh came in to my face, So God has a face now. Those Bibles, the people who have written them, they lack knowledge. They are limited. Their lack of understanding is apparent. For the earth was filled with violence from the face of them, and behold me destroying them from the earth, and not I will destroy them and the earth. You see? In this translation here at the end, it doesn't say I'm going to destroy the earth. It says I'm going to destroy them from the earth. Those are two different things. In the good news, it says, because the world is full of their violent deeds. It says, I will destroy them completely, because the world is full of their violent deeds. So here it doesn't say it's going to destroy the earth. You see? Now, in Genesis chapter 6, verse 16, New Living Translation, leave an 18-inch opening below the roof all the way around the boat, period. Put the door on the side, and build 3 decks inside the boat, lower, middle, and upper, period. So here you're told that there are different sections in the boat. So the animals, they were not all in the same section, in the same compartment as the people, right? There were different sections, even for the animals, different sections for type, and for the men as well. Genesis chapter 6, verse 17. But the details, the true, because it wasn't like a simple boat. No. The truth is, it is in Bibel, Kalatambali. Genesis chapter 6, verse 17 to 22. I'm going to send a flood on the earth to destroy every living beings, period. Everything on the earth will die. Everything on the earth will die. And you are told in Genesis chapter 6 that there were Nephilim on the earth in those days. The Nephilims were there. And in Genesis 6:17, he says, I'm going to send a flood on the earth to destroy every living beings. Every living beings. Everything on the earth will die. Verse 18, but I will make a covenant with you. Go into the boat with your wife, your sons, and their wives. Take into the boat with you a male and a female of every kind of animal. So it says here, take into the boat with you a male and a female of every kind of animal and of every kind of bird, in order to keep them alive. So that was his commandment according to the current Bibles, to take a male and a female to keep them alive. That was his mission. Verse 21, take along all kind of food for you and for them. Verse 22, Noah did everything that God commanded. But supposedly you're told that Noah made a sacrifice after the flood. Genesis chapter 7, verse 1 to 10. The Lord said to Noah, go into the boat with your whole family. I have found that you are the only one in all the world who does what is right. Take with you 7 pairs. Take with you 7 pairs of each kind of ritual clean animals, 7 pairs. In Genesis 6:17, and in the verse 19 to 20, you're told, take into the boat with you a male and a female. A male and a female. So it was a pair, male and female. Now you're told, take with you 7 pairs. 7 pairs. So it's no longer 2 of each. Now it's 7 pairs. Which one is it? Take with you 7 pairs of each kind of ritual clean animals, but only 1 pair of each kind of unclean animals, period. What is the unclean animal? Let's say, if there's the flood coming, it was to purify the earth. Why then is Noah taking unclean animals? The logic would want for him to only save the clean animals. Right? What does that represent? What does that mean here? Verse 3. Take also 7 pairs of each kind of bird, period. Do this so that every kind of animal and bird will be kept alive to reproduce again on the earth. Verse 4, 7 days from now I'm going to send rain that will fall for 40 days and nights in order to destroy all the living beings that I have made. Verse 5, and Noah did everything that the Lord commanded. Verse 6, Noah was 600 years old when the flood came on the earth. Verse 7, he and his wife, and his sons and their wives, went into the boat to escape the flood. Verse 8, a male and a female of every kind of animal and bird. Now they're back to a male and a female of every kind. A male and a female of every kind of animal and bird, whether ritually clean or unclean. Verse 9, went into the boat with Noah as God commanded them. So you're told a male and a female of every kind of bird, of animal and bird. It does not say here that the Nephilim were taken by Noah, were taken into the boat, were saved. No. He says the animals, the birds, went into the boat. And he says whether ritually clean or unclean. Genesis chapter 7, verse 21 to 23. Every living being on the earth died. Every living being on the earth died. Live every bird, comma, every animal, and every person. Period. So everything, every living being, every creature that was not on the boat died. Everything on the earth that breathed died. And that does not include the marine monsters, right? Because they had the ability to survive in water. And it is in detail in Kalatambali, the book of the truth. But everything that breathed life, that was walking on the earth, that lived on the earth, animals, bird, every person, died. So that would include also all the Nephilims, because they were on the earth in those days. On the earth. It doesn't say that they didn't live on the earth. They were on the earth in those days. They were creatures, living beings. Verse 24, Genesis 7:24. The water did not start going down for 150 days. Genesis chapter 8, verse 20. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took every clean animal and every clean bird and offered burnt offering onto the altar. So here we're told that Noah, after the flood, offered the Lord of the Bible, the Lord supposedly that humanity has accepted, offered him sacrifices. He offered him every clean animal and every clean bird, and took of every clean animal, in the New King James Version. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took every clean animal and of every clean bird. His mission was to save those animals, to save those birds. The flood came, passed. Then he take the animals, he take the bird, and offer burnt offerings. And you're told that he was to keep a male and female, a pair. That makes no sense. New King James Version, Genesis 6:20. Of the bird, Genesis 6:20. Of the birds after their kind, of animal after their kind, and of every creeping things on the earth after its kind, 2 of every kind will come to you to keep them alive. To keep them alive. Why is he killing them after? If his mission was to keep them alive. You see, that's a disobedience. He's disobeying the commandment, the law that was given to him regarding his mission, according to the current Bibles, once again. In Psalms chapter 51, verse 16, Contemporary English Version, offerings and sacrifice you are not what you want. God's Word Translation, you are not happy with any sacrifice. So here, even according to the Bible, God does not take pleasure in sacrifices. Aramaic Bible in plain English, because you have not desired sacrifices, comma, neither have you chosen burnt offering. Noah did burnt offering, he burned them. And supposedly that Lord took that, approved that, or that Noah gave that. So, but here, God does not take pleasure in that, does not want that. Literal Standard Version, Psalms chapter 51, verse 16. For you do not desire sacrifice, comma. If he does not desire that, why is Noah giving him to that? Giving him burnt offering, sacrifice. Or I give it, you do not accept burnt offering. You do not accept. Who is that God of the Bible that accepted the offering that Abel gave. Genesis chapter 7, verse 21 to 23. Every living being on the earth died, every bird, every animal, and every person. Verse 22. Everything on the earth that breathed life died. The Lord destroyed all living beings on the earth, human beings, animal, and bird. The only one left were Noah and those who were with him in the boat. Period. The water did not start going down for 150 days. The water did not start going down for 150 days. So the only people that were saved are the one in Noah's boat. Numbers chapter 13, verse 33. New International Version. So this is way after the flood. This is in the time of Joshua, according to the name they gave him here, but his true name is Belonge. No, Numbers chapter 13, verse 33. We saw the Nephilim there, in bracket, the descendant of Anak, come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshopper in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. So they saw the Nephilim. Numbers 13:33, New King James Version. There we saw the giants. The descendant of Anak came from the giants. So the giants were there after the flood. How did they survive? How did they survive when all living creatures, living beings that did not go on the boat died? And we were like grasshopper in our own sight, so we were to them. Here it says grasshopper. In other version, will say ant. In other version, will say cricket. So you see the contradictions in those translations, the contradictions in the current Bibles. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, Good News Translation. In those days and even later, how did they survive later? There were giants on the earth who were descended of the human woman and of the heavenly beings. They were great heroes and famous men of long ago. Genesis 7, verse 2. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animals, a male and his female, 2 each of animals that are unclean, a male and female. What does that represent? What does that represent when it says to take also the unclean animals? In Acts chapter 10, verse 11, this is regarding Peter's vision. He says, he saw heaven open and something like a large sheet being let down to earth by his 4 corners. It contained all kinds of 4-footed animals and reptiles of the earth, as well as birds of the air. Then a voice said to him, Get up, Peter, kill and eat. Verse 14, No, Lord, Peter answered, I have never eaten anything impure or unclean. Verse 15, the voice spoke to him second time, Do not call anything impure that God has made clean. And this was regarding unclean people who symbolized Cornelius here according to the Bible. You have to understand that the unclean, because for the fake Jews, for them, everyone that is not a Jew is like a dog, is unclean. You see, they consider them animals. That's what they tried to hide in the current Bibles. When they said that Noah saved the unclean animals, you have to understand that in the true version, it was those Nephilim. That's why they were, even according to the Bible, found later on. But in the true version, because it was the black race, and they were also the white race. They were also the others, the white race and mixed blood. Those who did not take part in some of the abomination that were happening on the earth, they were also saved. And it was not only Noah that was saved and his family; it was also the other black people that did not take part into those abominations. That's the true version. So it was not only 8 people that were saved. And in the current Bibles, they claim, they, or in the understanding of some, they would say no, the boat stopped on Mountain Ararat, which is in Europe. But you're told in the Bible that it was 1 block. If the boat supposedly stopped on Mountain Ararat, which is in Europe, how, and then when they represent the boat, you'll see lions, you'll see giraffes, you'll see elephants. How did they get back to Africa? Did they swim there? That's the type of question that those fake Christians, they cannot answer, because they don't understand. They'll try to come up with arguments, fake arguments. They don't understand what happened. They are in confusion. They are being misled by the fake versions of the current Bibles, full of lies and contradictions. It was 1 block. It did not stop on Mountain Ararat. The Nephilims were found, according to the Bibles, after, because it was not only 8 people that were saved. That was the message. All glory be to Loba, the only and unique Creator.